Welcome to the movie Speeching. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take good care. 22 Bullets is the name of the movie. Please like and subscribe to get every update. Charlie and his son Anatole head to the town square with their dog. He plays music and spends time together after retiring from the mafia. The Godfather's son notices a street performance by a goat and a singer, where he asks his father to watch and promises not to wander going too far from the artist. Charlie drives towards the parking lot waiting for Anatole to come back after watching the street performers, but suddenly a truck drove up behind his car, and a group of masked people pointed guns at him. They opened fire continuously at him, wounding him and even shooting his dog in the back of the car. Just as the gunners left, Charlie falls completely on the ground, unable to move. A surprise flashback of a teenager in prison and meeting a former mafia boss. When the ambulance arrives, all the hosts rush to the scene to report on Charlie, one of the biggest mafia bosses, people injured in the attack. Parking lot. Then a phone call goes out to Zach's gunners and informs them that Charlie has survived. One of his students told him the news, while Zach becomes angry and tells him that Charlie will be eliminated immediately after the parking lot encounter the same day in the operating room. Charlie recalls the moment he planned to kill Mr. Hernandez, the man who killed his old friend Oldtimer. Zach and Martin help him get ready equipment and his escape vehicle for the assassination while shaking hands and swearing friendship until death. Shortly after the incident, police officers and medical examiners cleared the scene and arrested begins investigating who attacked Charlie. The head of the investigation is Marie Goldman along with her partner. She seeks revenge for her deceased husband, who was killed by Zach, one of Charlie's friends, while Charlie is released from the hospital after surgery, where the police put him in a secure room. The entire hospital is filled with excessive security equipment such as CCTV cameras and alarms indicating equipment will be destroyed, used to gather information about the whereabouts of other gang bosses. A few days later, Charlie is now able to move and talk after being in a light coma after suffering a fatal wound. Martin arrives to bring his companion carry him and assures Charlie that they will gather information on the shooter and arrest them individually. The doctor informed him that his right hand and arm would no longer function the same as the nerves were affected, and he could also feel numbness in that part. The doctor claimed that later that evening, an assassin disguised himself as a doctor at the hospital and attempted to murder Charlie in bed while he was resting, but fortunately, the police anticipated this situation and taking it for storage in a private room where Officer Goldman guards his bed. The next morning, Zach comes to guard the hospital with his bodyguards and henchmen. He brings a flower and visits Charlie to assure him that his family will be well taken care of while he recovers from his injuries in the hospital, later joking that he's more handsome than himself even after being shot 22 times. He then gives Charlie a photo of a patron saint with information about the shooter before leaving the hospital. While that evening, Martin arrives, visited Charlie's family. He provided emotional support and helped a lot, taking care of them by becoming a surrogate father. The next day, he finally arrived where Charlie was still lying in his bed while Martin and Kareem went into the room to take him away. The good news is that one of his subordinates caught a rat that could provide information about who attacked Charlie in the parking lot. The police tried to listen in on their conversation, but Charlie started to get out of bed when he leaves the room and immediately take them away. The police immediately followed the car from a distance. However, Martin and Kareem saw the police following them. Kareem maneuvered the vehicle as if they were zigzagging, losing the police car. Fortunately, Kareem had anticipated this situation, so he ordered one of his subordinates to stop the car. On the way there, the police completely lost sight of them for a few minutes. After a crazy car chase, they finally reached an old warehouse where Charlie's subordinates tortured a rat that could provide information to the killer. Shooting towards the parking lot, the rat immediately wet itself on the spot. Charlie assures them he won't kill him if he gives them enough information about who the gunmen are and who ordered them out of fear and drunkenness. The mouse reveals its name, and to Charlie's surprise, he learns that Zach was the one who ordered his assassination in the parking lot. After hearing that Zach plans to assassinate him, he orders Kareem to clean up the rat and send it home to fulfill his promise not to kill it after providing the information, but little does Charlie know that he will soon regret it. After a night where the mouse informs Zach's henchmen that Charlie knows who plotted to assassinate him and who the gunmen are, they kidnapped Kareem and tortured him to death before feeding him to two ferocious dogs. One of the henchmen cut off part of Kareem's body and sent it to Charlie's house to send a threat that they would return to finish what they had started that morning. Mrs. Charlie's wife receives a package containing Kareem's unidentified body parts boxed up. She screams, fearing they will be the next target, and Charlie decides to fight for his family. Family mourned one last time at the cemetery. He assured them that he would kill all those who tortured and attacked them as Kareem's birthday was celebrated. A classmate. One person mourns the death of another, and Zach's goons celebrate by eating and drinking lots of food. But Charlie breaks into their hideout and threatens to kill them one by one and holds a grenade to scare the goons. He ordered them to throw guns and other weapons into the aquarium. He immediately shot the birthday celebrant when he recognized the watch of one of the shooters in the parking lot a few days after Charlie's breakout. Entering the hideout, he kills one of the henchmen, then visits Kareem's grave out of frustration at Zach's house. Goldman and his partner investigate Zach and Charlie's whereabouts during the parking lot assassination. Zach immediately tries to bribe Goldman to work for him, but without hesitation, she declines the offer to let her find more clues linking Zach to Charlie's assassination. Meanwhile, that afternoon, Zach's henchmen wreak havoc on Charlie's henchmen office and destroyed all his belongings. Minutes later, Martin arrives at the office only to find the place a mess and notices Charlie's family photos are damaged. He then rushes out to warn Charlie about his favorite spot on the nearby beach. After a while, Martin arrived at the scene to warn Charlie that he was in danger, but their luck was running out as the enemy was able to attack. All the enemies fired at Martin and Charlie, but both of them dodged the bullets. But unfortunately, Martin was captured by the enemy and was almost bitten by enemy dogs, while some followed Charlie and fled on motorbikes. Zach's henchmen continue to follow Charlie as he escapes, but he comes up with a plan in which he will escape while remaining hidden from the public. He fools them all and crashes into a nearby police car to avoid all the trouble of fighting multiple enemies. They all passed by to see it. They can't arrest Charlie because they will tell the police that it's a mafia war. The police notice several of Zach's henchmen dying one after another, and they immediately suspect Charlie of the series of murders. Goldman then investigates the mysterious killer. Apparently the killer is using a gun with a silencer. She still notices that the gun has Charlie's fingerprints on it, and she immediately interrogates Charlie at police station. She talked to him and asked him where he found him in the event of the murder, but he still knows nothing about the murder, no matter what she says. That someone may be using their gun to conceal the true identity of the killer. That evening at the location of Zach's son's wedding, Zach talks about how he values his friends and would never kill anyone, but it's all hypocritical because he doesn't value them and instead defames all of his friends as soon as he no longer needed them. While Charlie Corners reprimands one of the thugs who owns the dog who tortured Kareem, he sees an opportunity to kill him along with other thugs who are part of the gunman who shot Charlie on parking lot. He shoots him in both legs and orders him to download all of Zach's transactions to get an advantage and blackmail him, but Zach notices that some of his henchmen had gone missing. He then ordered some of his remaining henchmen to search for them. After some time, they locate Root in the old warehouse, where unbeknownst to them Charlie is interrogating him. Rabu then tries to escape from Charlie, but he fails as he gets stuck at the end of the house warehouse. He begged for mercy because there was a 4-year-old girl and showed a doll, but Charlie picked up the doll and took out all the packets of magic powder inside, shot Rabu, and ran away from the warehouse to avoid being caught. The next morning, Charlie meets Martin and gives him a USB drive containing all of Zach's illegal transactions and the possible locations of his other drug caches. He orders him to send it to Alo, another mafia boss. He wanted Martin to personally deliver the goods to avoid information leaks. The next day, one of Charlie's henchmen picks up Tolan, Eva, and her children from school while Goldman watches his police car from afar as they leave for home. Zach's henchmen shoot at the car, instantly killing Charlie's henchmen and kidnapping his son and daughter. After a while, Eva is seen at a nearby gas station covered in bruises, but her brother was still missing, and she told them that if Charlie didn't surrender, he would. Kills ANL as she screams at her mother. Another day comes and Charlie plans to send a message to Zach while pretending to surrender, avoid further bloodshed, and kill competition with other mafias. He then meets with Goldman to proposes a negotiation to save his son. He offers to fake being captured to distract Zach and lower his defenses for a better chance. To save her son, Goldman agrees to help him, but on one condition. She asks him to stop Zach once and for all to take revenge on her deceased husband while the police broadcast all the news about Charlie's arrest. Zach orders his henchmen to eliminate Anil while he is of no use anymore because his father has been arrested by the police. Meanwhile, at another warehouse, one of the henchmen orders a thug to finish off the child and gather all the materials needed to bury the child's body. The thug collected all the necessary materials, but he hit the henchman on the head because he didn't want to kill an innocent child. He tried to free Anil and assure him that he would be safe, but the henchman stabbed him in the stomach while Anil screamed frightened. The henchman stuffed Goon and Anil's bodies into the back of the car and immediately left. The area to kill Anil was in a safer place, but Charlie went and climbed the barbed wire wall of the warehouse and escaped from the maze of barbed wires surrounding the warehouse. He noticed a car trying to get away, and he heard his child's voice. He decided to intentionally jump in front of the car to stop it. The car crashes and the henchman attacks Charlie with his knife, although fortunately Charlie uses his right arm, which feels nothing like a shield, to block all of the man's attacks. He defeated him by hitting him hard with the car door and finished by twisting his neck, killing the enemy instantly. He successfully saved his son, and they left the area to return to a safer place while Charlie decided not to run anymore and leaving Zach at home to deal with things the next day. He sneaks into Zach's house, confronts Zach, and asks him why he committed all these heinous crimes. Zach then explains that their ideology doesn't align with Charlie wanting to be a mafia that doesn't kill anyone. For a while Zach intended to eliminate everyone who stood in his way, but as soon as they took action, the police arrived and arrested Zach for fraud and embezzlement, and they freed Charlie from all the crimes that he caused. The film ends after chaos. Event Goldman proves Charlie was not the one who killed all of Zach's henchmen by having him sign a paper certifying that his right hand was non-functional, explaining that the gun had his fingerprints on it. Right hand, while Charlie calls Martin to take him home and talks to him about being part of the shooter who tried to kill him, but he doesn't hesitate to forgive him, treating him like family and hug him tightly. Thank you for watching. See you on the next video.